Welcome back to the nationally syndicated Price of Business show. I'm your host, Kevin Price, talking to you about you and your business. And really, our topic today touches a lot of, I think, points of interest to anyone who is interested in business, but also interested in about our country and how we take care of veterans and issues pertaining to that. We have a veteran who's joining us today, Kate Monroe, who is really been a very successful entrepreneur, very multi-interested, I could say, Kate, by looking at your background. You may be a little ADHD like I am, I don't know. You like to do a lot of different things and wear a lot of different hats, but you have a phenomenal story. And before we get started, why don't you take a minute to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, just about my story. I grew up in Northern California in a little bitty town. Great parents, went off to college at Christian College, didn't really know what I wanted to be. Ended up going into the Marine Corps, which was very difficult, not just because I was a woman. 6% of the entire Marine Corps is women, so it's difficult. But in the Marine Corps was assaulted. I smashed my nose and eye socket, lacerated my face, crushed my elbow, broke my right ankle, and ended up being a 100% disabled veteran. And after the Marine Corps, I just kind of went on and, went into entrepreneurial efforts or sales, speaking, motivation in many different industries. I've been in the auto industry, in solar, in vacation club. I've owned my own car dealership. I'm an author, and now I own VETCOMM. So I just, like you said, jack of all trades, but really at the heart of that engine is solving problems for people and exciting people and changing people's lives.
Yeah, very good. And I'm assuming, like most veterans who apply for disability, you did not get 90% initially.
I'm actually 100% now, but no, I did not.
100%, you didn't get 100% initially.
No. I mean, when I first got out, I actually got out with nothing. And then about 10 years later, I went to the DAV, and they ended up getting me 70, and I didn't even know that you could get more. I just thought that's what it was. And then I used a law firm to get myself to 90. And then I got myself to 100. And no, it's a long road. It's a very adversarial process. Yeah, it's very hard.
My dad got out in World War II. He got mainly psychological PTSD type injuries. So it was very debilitating for him. Hearing loss, those type of things. And he was out, when he got out, was 20%. And it took about 30-something years to get to 100%. And so people like to think we take care of our veterans. We certainly have a lot of parades, and we go to sporting events, and we let them come to the, center field, out on the field, and we applaud them and that type of thing. But, it's a pretty mixed record, and on their own, it's really daunting. And I know this is one of your life's passions.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think if you look at the country, a lot of the time we're giving veterans lip service, and that's it. Thank you for your service. They can't go and monetize a parade into their life. They can't go buy groceries with the parade. They can't send their kids to college with a parade or become homeowners with a parade. So, yeah, it's a passion of mine. I think, we're seeing the deprioritization of veterans now in our country, and it's just sickening to me.
Yeah, and by the way, I don't want to be overly cynical. I don't want to just be mistreat our government's treatment, to an extreme. But, you and I both know that so much of these parades and so much of this honoring at the sporting event, all of it is fine and good, are also done as a form of recruiting tools. They go to a football game or a baseball game, they put them on the field and wow, they're like athletes. They're like superstars. I may not be able to be a pro baseball player, but I could join the military. And, it's a phenomenal recruiting tool, especially at a time where recruiting is really difficult for all the branches of the military these days, and have been now for a number of years.
Oh, yeah. I've been all over the news about our recruiting crisis. The Marine Corps doesn't have a recruiting crisis, but all the other services do. And, I think, that's the one service that held to their esprit de corps. But, I just think there's a lot more that we can do for veterans if we really made a focus on it. The amount of homeless veterans we're seeing in the country, no one's doing much about that. And there's very simple reasons why we're seeing the rise. And someone's got to take that issue by the reins and go and tackle it. And that's what I'm hoping to do, not only with VETCOMM, but also, I'm running for Congress. And my hope is that I can help cut out some of the bureaucracy and the adversarial process for veterans.
Yeah, absolutely. And people accidentally, as you even pointed out, find out they can get into this program, that they can get disability. It's not like it's their thing they want to promote. It's really quite sad how it's done. To see what my dad went through was really very telling, to be perfectly honest with you. Tell me a little bit about other things you're involved in, have been involved in that are still current. You have an incredible track record, as I mentioned, spanning several years. But now you're running for Congress, but you've also been an author. Talk a little bit about your books.
Yeah, I've written different kinds of books. One was a Christian fiction book called Guardians. My most recent book is called The Race to Save America, and I'm a solution provider. That's how my brain works. So I see a problem, I think on it a long time, I get counsel, I come up with solutions. And so it's a problem solution book, kind of a roadmap to get the country back on track, get our country prosperous again and safe. And, authorship is a good thing for me. It helps me get all my ideas, into a book where other people can also enjoy them. But I think more than that, it provides you a good speaking platform, and people are very clear on what you stand for when you pin it down to paper.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's there's no doubt about that. I've written a few books over the years, and it's beneficial, obviously, to the reader, or you wouldn't write it, but also to the person who does to write it. Really provides a level of clarity that really can only come through sorting through it, writing through it, and getting it on paper, as you put it so well. Talk about your activities. Obviously, you've got this group that's helping veterans get the disability that they deserve. But you have other entrepreneurial type efforts, including a program of your own that interviews veterans and showcases them. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I started in this last year in May, starting to try to tackle the veteran homeless issue. And so I started to go out into the community, not just in San Diego, but in Oceanside. I've been up to the Tenderloin. I've been all over to go and examine why the homeless issue, but really why the veteran homeless issue has not been solved yet. And in speaking to, I've probably spoken to a couple hundred homeless veterans and about 1,000 homeless people. And it's just something that got put on my heart. And, we've bought an RV for a guy, taken him completely off the street. We formed a charity called House the Heroes. You can find it at housetheheroes.org, where we partner with transitionary housing for veterans. And we get them all in a room, 20 to 50 of them, and we make their claims, get them prepared for that adversarial process with the VA, and get them paid, because they need money. If I can help them get $2,000 to $4,000 a month for the rest of their life, certainly that would go miles toward them having traction enough to not be homeless. So these are big things that we work on. Our company, we do well. We have a lot of traction right now, and we want to put that back into the universe and not just help veterans, but make sure we're helping them wherever they are, even if they're on the street.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. And so you have a media campaign going on. In fact, the team that set this up are people we work with all the time, and they have a great focus on very worthy, very important type campaigns like yours. Talk about what the overriding objective here is, for the campaign. Obviously, to create awareness of what you're doing. But what did you have in mind when you decided to do this campaign?
Well, two things. One, to elevate the visibility, certainly, of our public company, so people can understand we're another a choice for veterans. If you're a veteran out there and you're not collecting your funds or not collecting enough, no one's going to do it faster, easier, and for more money into your pocket than we are. We really truncate the process. That's one part of it. But the other part of it is I speak a lot, and our company is very vocal about what's going on with veterans at the VA, with the Veteran Health Administration. And this particular campaign that you're speaking to, we highlighted the rise in veteran homelessness. It said that it rose 7%, but it didn't. It really rose 17 to 18% because it didn't go down, because it was going down by 10%. So not only did it not go down, it went up. by 7%. And there's very clear reasons why it's going up. The VA HUD-VASH program is reallocated, to migrants. There's just not the country's attention is not on veterans right now, and those resources are not being allocated accordingly. And we wanted to make sure that this didn't fall silent, and we don't want the veterans to go quietly into the night. And so we were willing to put financial resources behind this project.
Yeah, and the reality is that so many of them have a lot of needs that need to be addressed. I really think that it needs to become more automatic and more routine for veterans, almost like a presumption that they need mental health adjusting after they've been in the military, even if they didn't see combat, just by the nature of the work they do. And instead, it's very resistant, and there isn't a lot of help unless they're really, really showing obvious signs of struggling. That makes zero sense to me.
Yeah, it's interesting. I was actually, as I said, I was assaulted, and that gives you kind of your own sort of, mental health challenges. But a lot of veterans, it's not necessarily that they have depression or traditional PTSD or MST. A lot of them have anxiety. Massive anxiety, because they're at the constant state already all the time. It's like, go, 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 go. And the second they get released out into the wild, back into their civilian life, their life isn't go, 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 go. And then they start to lack purpose, and, they get into a silo, and it creates a lot of problems. That's actually why our company decided to become a skill bridge company. We wanted people exiting the service to be able to find us, work for us while they're still in the service, and then seamlessly transition into their civilian life with no downtime where they could get, scared, get lost, get homeless, get this anxiety and depression going. We wanted to cut it off before it got there. And I would challenge more companies to become skill bridge companies. And if you need help doing it, we'd love to show you how, because it's a big service you can give to these active duty service members on their route to becoming veterans.
Right. It's really more like an ounce of prevention being better than a pound of cure.
I'd love to stop them first. Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, get it while it's a small issue. And again, having seen a lot of people who've gone through the military in my family, I didn't make that choice. Frankly, between you and me, one of the reasons why is seeing what my family members went through. I just really think that it would make a lot of sense to have an assumption there at the time of military service that you make a transition period out before they actually leave to make sure they're okay, rather than assuming they are. And
we pretend
I
like
think
there
that
is
alone would save. I think that would save the government and of course society. Who knows how much money if they took those steps? Not to mention the fact that we have a lot happier veterans.
It would save the country billions, I can tell you, billions of dollars, because the number one thing that people are getting paid for in their benefit set is their mental health. I mean, it ends up making more than half of their way to 100%. Like, to give you an idea, in San Diego County every year, veterans who don't make claims, like all that money gets kept by the VA, is $4 to $6 billion a year just in our county. So there's a lot of money at stake, which is, one reason the VA doesn't want to advertise the help, because they don't want to pay the money.
Yeah.
They don't want to spend that money. They want to spend it on other things.
Yeah, they do more of a preventive approach, a more take offense rather than just defense after the fact. They'd be saving a lot of money and have a lot more mental health positive outcomes. The website for our guest today is VETCOMM. That's VETCOMM.US, VETCOMM.US. Our guest today, Kate Monroe. Thanks so much for being with us today. It was great.
Yeah, thanks for, having me on. I always appreciate getting the visibility, and I would tell any veteran out there, if you're not collecting what you should be, we're going to give you 15 minutes of our time free to tell you exactly how much you are owed. So find us at VETCOMM.US, and I appreciate your service.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm Kevin Price. This is the nationally syndicated Price of Business. Stay tuned for more after this.